Welcome. You're watching the Thrift Store Rundown, where we bring Hollywood home and sports home on a budget. The NFL season is in full swing, and yes, just like everything else, it looks and sounds vastly different because of a certain something we have to call, unfortunately, the coronavirus. Man, how does this continue to wreck everything that's fun? While the action we're still seeing twice weekly is pretty good, Monday, Thursdays, and Sundays 3 times a week. Unfortunately, there's one terrible trade-off to this whole thing, and that is fake, artificial, piped-in stadium crowd noise, which is policy across the entire NFL. Anyone who violates the policy will be disciplined. Whatever. While certain organizations are lifting some restrictions so that they can allow fans back in the stands, whatever happens is gonna be on them. And yeah, we will be getting a Super Bowl much later than anybody would predict it, or would want. Whatever. Now that that's out of the way, Cowboys fan or not, we pretty much ran the gamut when it comes to NFL-related items on the channel. I'm not a football person. This is the newest football-related item that I have. But you know what? I think this is going to be a rootin' tootin' straight six-shootin' cookbook that'll have your dinner guest roaring real roars of approval. Or at the very least, moaning real moans and groans of pleasure, because really you can't roar with your mouth full, right? This is the Dallas Cowboys Family Cookbook from 2009. It benefits the Happy Hill Farm Academy of Granbury, Texas. Or does it still? Anyway, behind-the-scenes photos, recipes, and profiles of the 09 team, with recipes compiled by the Women's Association because, as the saying goes, behind every great cowboy is a great and very attractive cowgirl. Like those Cowboys cheerleaders? Oh yeah. This was purchased for $1.58. Yes, 50% off the price of $2.99. And, market price, and I say market, not really retail, because I don't think you'd be able to find this retail. This is more of a community-based cookbook. But front of house price is $9.95. These are the students that this book's proceeds will benefit. Happy Hill Farm Academy, or have benefited, really. Again, that's in Granbury, Texas. It also benefits their, let's take a look at this. Courage House, yes. And there are plenty of Courage Houses in many NFL cities that benefit underprivileged and disadvantaged youth. So good on for NFL for doing something of charitable effort, and also making something quite cool, which this is. And there's also plenty of local advertising in here, which really sealed the deal for me. I mean, I'm a sucker when it comes to local advertising. And I use that term loosely because this is not local. Local is what's in your area. What's regional where you live. This is definitely not regional. I'm in New Jersey, and ironically enough, tomorrow on CBS, the Cowboys face off against our home team Giants. And I'm not a Giants person. Would I use this as a factor for me to root for the Cowboys? I don't know. I gotta see if this is any good. And right now, this is giving me some hope. First and 10, this is CBS 11 News. HD, back when HD was all the rage. And it still is, but it's just revolutionary. Join Larry, Karen, Doug, and Babe weeknights at 10 for coverage you can count on the official Cowboy station, CBS 11 News. People you can count on. Especially when you're a Cowboys fan, too. So, that's pretty cool. Another piece of local advertising, which is also really cool. A movie tavern. There are several movie taverns in Texas, in Bedford, Arlington, Fort Worth, Denton, and I guess the new one, new, quote-unquote, in Fort Worth at 2872 Crockett Street. First run movies with in-theater dining, extensive menu and wine list with a full-service bar, luxury seating, and all-digital Real 3D projection. Real D technology. Dinner and a movie combined. That's not AMC. Movie Tavern is local, quote-unquote, regional, quote-unquote, and I guess they were the leaders. AMC just picked up on their little shindig, and adapted it nationwide. So really, the whole dinner movie concept inside, you gotta give it up for Movie Tavern. Movies never tasted so good. Of course, I know they've been affected by COVID-19 too, so you might want to check out their website to see what guidelines and protocols they have now for patrons. MovieTavern.com for showtimes and the complete menu. But that looks swanky, especially under the starlit sky, now open. Oh, heck yeah. Who would not want to dine and enjoy a good piece of cinema there? Anyway. Let's get on to the recipes, and for this review I'm looking for chilies, soups, and stews, the kind of one-pot comfort foods that you can bring to a potluck, a social distant potluck. And here we go. I mean, come on, does this not fit into the criteria or what? The best game day chili. And this is from Aaron and Matt McBriar. Yes, a lot of couples, a lot of spouses to the Cowboys contribute recipes too. And these are the McBriars, Matt and Aaron. You get stats about their college education, their birth dates, how many pets do they have, what kind of nicknames do they have, what they consider their greatest achievement is, and their favorite things in these stats right here for every player, almost every player. Some sections are incomplete. Did I mention this thing is chock full of photos galore? Many of them on the field, and many of them off the field, with their families. And now for another piece of local advertising, TXA 21 News, which is an independent station, but actually carries the same programming as a CBS 11. How about that? Rushing is a good thing in football, but not necessary for local news. Don't rush home to see the news and sports. TXA 21 News is ready when you are. You have Gina Miller, Tracy Cornett, Gary Sheet, and Narissa Knight. Every night from 7 to 9 on TXA 21 News First and Prime. Because if it's First and Prime, it must be 21. I learned that slogan from their TXA 21 Court Block promo on YouTube. Yeah, I like court show promos on local regional channels. How creative can they get? Turn the page for our next chili recipe, and that's honey chicken chili. It's a crock potter, so let's break out the old crock pot for this one. Megan Sulek, who I think is courting, or was courting, Corey Proctor. The courtship of Corey Proctor. You're not gonna learn anything about that in here, but you get really cool stats down the bottom here. Along with some nice looking photos. Next up is turkey chili, courtesy of the DeCamillis. That would be care of Joe and Dana DeCamilli, along with their Cracker Barrel hash brown casserole. So 2 recipes in 1 contribution. And by the way, this covers administration, coaches, players, and staff. Everybody on the 2009 Dallas Cowboys team contributed here. Or every section of their organization, really. And Joe DeCamillis is the special teams coordinator, or was. I mean, come on, this is from 2009. Times have changed. White bean chicken chili, courtesy of the Garretts, Anna and John Garrett. Recipes right here. And I guess this is the family dog named Charlie, who's guarding the family. I guess he holds the key to the secret ingredient and the secret formula behind this white bean chicken chili. No, just kidding. The majority of recipes have ingredients in here that you can find in any regular old grocery store. However, there is some inconsistency with the presentation of ingredients and directions in the recipe. Some ingredients you might think are easy to find might not be that easy anymore. So that's kind of weird. But hey, this is a good-looking family right here. And you know, everything's bigger in Texas, especially the bond of family, no matter how big or small the size of the actual family is. Now let's go on to soups. And here we have a nice taco soup recipe courtesy of the Manguses, Dana and Steve Mangus. Steve Mangus is assistant equipment manager, or was. This is a recipe for taco soup plus sesame seed bread. Lastly, toucan soup. What the heck is toucan soup? It is exactly whatever 2 cans of components you can find to make this soup. Pinto beans, rotel tomatoes, Mexican corn, minestrone soup. What? Pre-prepared minestrone soup? A little bit lazy, Brenda and George Mitchell. George, Chief Financial Officer for a decade after the publication of this cookbook. But hey, I guess it's a nice flavor booster. I don't know. You make the call. So that's as far as I'm going to go in terms of the recipes. But I do want to show you a few more pages. Like the table of contents for the entire book itself. Featuring contributions again from the administration, from the players themselves, the heart of the Cowboys, coaches, and other personnel and office staffers. The majority of the 09 Cowboys team are black players, and I must take note of that because, as you know, Black Lives Matter around here, and TSR is committed to doing its very best to spotlight black players in the entertainment industry and the pop culture industry and the sports industry as a whole more often than not, because I'm tired of seeing African Americans get victimized for no good reason whatsoever. So it's important to point that out, okay? And while there are some inconsistencies with the presentation of the recipe ingredients, I think, for the most part, this 4.5 out of 5 clap cookbook, and yeah, that is its final rating, 4.5 out of 5 claps. Making any of the recipes in here, well, that's going to be a much easier call and a safer bet than a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader on Friday night after a trout pack. Thank you, Monticelli, for that. Thank you guys for watching, and I never thought I'd say this as a tri-state area person who's supposed to root for the Giants. I like the Rams, but go Cowboys! I'll catch you on the flip side. Or should I say, giddy up, Cowboys. See you next time.